there's a shooting at a Houston restaurant, and it involved a guy coming in as a robber, asked people for their money at gunpoint, kind of walked around and collected the wallets, and then you see a one of the civilians pull their gun out as the robber was walking past him, seemingly on his way to the front door, and then the camera froze. Now, I have the opinion that the camera froze for a reason because they knew they had something on there that was a little sketchy. I watched the news video clipping of it. I read the article associated with it. This was down in Houston. And one of the first things I saw were exit wounds or exit marks on the front door. And that's when I started to kind of raise my eyebrow. And this was before they even showed the video. So I'm thinking, okay, so this guy, it's an open carry state, right to defend yourself. And I get all that. But I evaluated the video and I go, look, I'm not sure. And what we found out is that the gun was fake. Now, I think a lot of people misunderstood that I was thinking that, hey, just because the gun is fake means that this guy didn't deserve to get shot, means that people should have asked him if the gun was real before he got shot. I have the opinion that if you were to walk out of your house, as soon as you plan on committing a crime, whatever fate comes to you is probably what you deserve. Because when you're threatening people, they don't know if it's real or fake or not. They're just going to react. And in this case, obviously the robber didn't think about that when he walked out or when he decided to rob people that day. And that was his last worst fatal mistake. So with that being said, with me reviewing the video, I go, well, it looks like the guy has everything he needs. Looks like he's headed out the door. No one is in danger anymore. And this guy shot him down. I'm not sure that, this is going to be as open and cut case as a lot of people say it is. Maybe he should get in trouble. That was the initial thing that I said, which I pulled back. I also said this guy was just in there trying to get some bread for his family, the guy robbing, it's not a funny thing to joke about, but I was joking about it. Again, this was a friend of mine had posted this on Facebook, and, no good conversation ever starts with, I saw this posted on Facebook, first off. So I was kind of very hesitant on even commenting, but since it was a friend's post, I did comment and I did say thoughts. And I did say, I hope I think this guy might get in trouble. And I kind of think he should, which in reviewing after that, I really don't think he should, but I can definitely understand that if he were to get in trouble. And this was the initial video. Of course, everyone jumped down my back. I'm not here to take anyone's gun away. I'm not one of those guys. I'm for guns. I'm pro guns, but this isn't about gun control, in my opinion. This was about self-defense. And, at what point do you go from hero to prison? And that's what I was questioning, how legal was this? You can go from doing the right thing, which I think he did, to potentially taking it too far. In the days after, we started to see the full video of what happened in the next 30 seconds, and where he actually shoots the guy a total of 9 times. I had to watch the video. And if you want the video, I can send it to you, hardparkingpodcast@gmail.com. But at this point, it's all over the place. But again, he shot him 9 times. And it really looks even worse than I kind of originally thought. It's weird. We live in a society where you can't even question stuff without people going to the extreme, right? And the fact that he had a fake gun, it doesn't matter at the time. But if I were on the prosecution, I would probably try to use that as something. There's no way you would know. There's no way you know. But I look at every situation. Hey, how could I attack this from multiple angles? If I want to defend the guy, I could easily find ways to defend him. If I wanted to kind of question him, I saw stuff that was questionable, and that's all I was trying to say. Before I bring Brian Sales on here, I'm going to read a few of the conversations that were kind of going back and forth off of Facebook because I'm trying to have a conversation, and people are like trying to curb stomp me about all this stuff because You can never question what's happening in the state of Texas or anywhere when guns are involved because people automatically think you're trying to take their guns away. Again, this is not about gun control. One guy, and I won't say who this is. Jhae, after reading your comments, I can tell you have zero knowledge of how the legal system works in the prior case law in situations like these. I can also tell that you have zero tactical knowledge of how to properly respond in a situation like this one. Maybe this will help you. If someone breaks into your house and is coming down the hall screaming and waving a gun at you and your children, are you going to pour him a glass of water and ask him if the gun is real? Or are you going to use the reasonable person standard, infer that at the moment there is a justification to believe your life or others in danger of death or grave bodily harm? First off, and people say that because, I mean, another guy asked me, where are you from, bro? Well, I grew up in Texas. I used to illegally carry a gun because at one point in a different lifestyle, I legitimately feared for my life. I got into it with some people that I was doing bad business with. But anyway, so I understand how things are in Texas. I understand how things are here in Arizona. Arizona is the Wild West as well. I lived in Michigan. Michigan can be the wild. In all 3 states, you can walk around with a gun on your side unless the establishment says you are not allowed to bring guns into my establishment. So I get all this, but to me, this isn't about that. And in Texas, you're allowed to legally defend your property if someone comes on your property. If someone comes on your business, you feel threatened. Someone breaks into your house, someone walks across your driveway, you have the legal right to open fire. However, I will say that no law is black and white, except for maybe some of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not kill. That's it. It's not thou shalt not kill. And then you have to read 32 articles of what that actually means. And if Article B is appropriate, then in the middle of Article B, it says, this is absolutely necessary within your legal right, unless B, or unless Article 3C, 3A, and 3F are applicable. You go to 3F and it just sends you in a big loop. That's how the law is written. It's written to kind of paint itself in a circle, and it's written for things like this. So nothing is ever that cut and dry. This isn't the Wild West. Can you imagine what would happen if every time you feel threatened, you were within your legal right to pull out your gun and shoot somebody or beat somebody down? And that's why the law is the way the law is. Let's see. Another one of these conversations is, some of these are friends of mine, and some of these are people that don't know me. If you're sitting there with your family or friends, would you wait for him to shoot somebody first before justifying the shot? You know, that fraction of a second could be the life or death of a loved one or friend or innocent people in the restaurant. That's very true. That's very true. Based on what I saw, and again, I'm only going off of what I see here. And at the time, nobody knew. What we saw later was the rest of it. But most of this was before that. And people were still going to die on that sword. No pun intended. To me, it's different. To me, if someone's coming in and waving their gun immediately, that's when you react, not when they've grabbed everything. You assess the situation. No harm was made to anyone or even a real threat to them. In my opinion, it's not like the guy held a gun to someone's head and says, give me your money or else I'm going to blow your brains out. Everybody give me your money or I'm going to blow this person's brains out. To me, it's different and the details matter. So with that being said, let me bring on Brian Sales, host of the Warriors Collection brand. Brian, welcome back to the show. You've seen this as well. I know you have your opinions on this as well, and you are tactical. You are somebody that I know of that, I mean, you have your own little, I'm going to call it a compound bunker. You teach your family on how to professionally protect themselves. You teach tactical classes with guns and gun safety. And I mean, even behind you, tell me what you have behind you because I'm not an expert on this.
Yeah, that's just a precision rifle. That's my new baby for hunting and some long range, trying to get my long range game up. But yeah, it's just my first time getting a precision rifle. So yeah, tactical. I love when people throw those words out there, and it's going to be a great conversation.
Well, and the thing is, and I mean, I get it, but I think people are so quick to defend gun usage. They think people are attacking the fact that somebody has a gun, and that's not what I was doing at all. And as far as assessing a situation, not everybody is good at that. I don't think you have to be a military vet to understand what that means. I don't think you necessarily have to go through professional training. I think sometimes people are that's just what they do. Everyone who knows me as a very even-keeled person, and it's because I usually don't panic first. I assess, I react, and then I think about it later. And I'll give a classic example. We had an NSX event here called NS Expo in October. I come home from an event. I want to get a few things and continue on. This is a weekend-long event. I walk in the door. My son's sitting on the couch with one of his best friends watching football. My mother-in-law is standing there in the kitchen. My brother-in-law's over. My mother-in-law's eating something, and she starts coughing over the trash because she chokes. She has health problems. I kind of look at her. I'm like, oh, are you cool? She goes, yeah. And I go, okay. I keep doing what I'm doing. I'm bringing stuff in and around the house. I come back in, but now I know that the situation is going on. I come back in and I see that she's still coughing. And so I kind of go over and stand near her to kind of get closer to the situation so I can kind of assess what's going on here. I'm not panicking. I'm looking at my brother-in-law. He's starting to get really scared. I'm looking at my mother-in-law. She's looking at me. The kids and the grown kids in the living room are kind of looking back. And she looks at me with a look on her face. And I could tell now she's legit struggling and she needs my help. But no time to panic, no time to do anything. I just jumped into gear, got behind her, gave her the Heimlich maneuver, stood next to her, waited for her to take 2 or 3 super deep breaths. I looked at my brother-in-law and said, okay, you got her? You good? And he goes, yeah. I go, okay, go get her. She needs a breathing treatment. You guys take care of her. And I was literally out of the door within 30, 45 seconds, continuing on with my day. Now, not everybody could have done that. I'm not trying to say that I'm some sort of a hero. I mean, this is my family, but my point in that is not everybody panics. Sometimes you assess the situation. And when I was watching that video, that's, it's easy to say what you would do when you're not there, obviously. No one had a gun to my head, but just in looking what I looked at, I was like, it looks like most of the danger is over. They could have lived to live another day. Wallets and IDs can be replaced. People can't. The person who got killed, he got what's coming to him. I mean, shit like that happens. Fuck around and find out. That's what everyone says. I'm a firm believer of fuck around and find out. But from a prosecution standpoint, I can see how this wasn't an open and shut case. What did you see?
Before I start, I just want to preference that my eyes are covered because the last time I was on the show, I took a quite a beating from your following. So I'm still healing from that. I hope this time they don't beat me so bad with this response. What I saw in this video was that, as you just said, the situational awareness, getting a feel for what's going on. And I'm looking at the video again. I don't see panic on anyone really. The guy that's sitting across from the guy that did the shooting, he seems pretty calm. He's like, oh, about to lose this money. The guy in the corner, he's not panicking. He gave up his wallet. We've heard so many times when people are like, I heard this person said, if I don't do this, I'm going to die. And I felt that in my soul. Like I knew this was it. There's no audio. We can't tell what his voice sound like, but looking at the video, it don't seem like people are really panicking or they're just going to give up their money. I mean, we have one person that dove to the floor, which is a natural response. But after I watched the video, I think I watched it like 5 times before. I was like, you know what? This guy is probably going to jail. He fumbled with his gun, trying to get his gun out. And that was his time to, if he was going to do something, it should have been right then and there, but he fumbled it. In many cases where we see where police officers shoot someone in the back, right? There's outrage. He was turned around. He wasn't even facing you. How do you, blah, 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 blah. Saying that the guy is slightly in front of him. He could have stopped him when he got to the table. The guy passed. He shoots him, and then he shoots him some more. I mean, I'm an instructor. These are things that we talk about in our class, the legal use of force. You have to be in line with all of those. You have to check each box. And looking at the video, he missed some boxes.
What boxes did he miss? Because, I'm not sure. I'm not tactically inclined. I'm not classically trained. I've never had to take a life. I've never been in a situation where I feel like my life was about to be taken, which matters here. But I also feel like when you choose to carry a sidearm, we don't live in 1896. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where at any given time, someone in the saloon could pull out a 6-shooter and start firing. I think when you're carrying a sidearm, you carry it for protection, but you also, if it's not concealed, you kind of, this is a slippery slope here. But I guess before I go down that road, I'm going to say that you should be trained to know that if you pull it out, you better be able to justify the usage of it beyond a reasonable doubt. And in this case, I think that it was self-defense, but it got a little hairy afterwards.
Yeah. And
what steps do you think he missed?
I feel like he missed the imminent threat. Even before the imminent threat, I don't feel like that was there's a guy waving a gun. he comes into the store. You should have shot him then. Like you, that's where your training comes in. You should have been able to pull that gun out cleanly and ended him. He walks to the corner. His back is towards you. The gun should be out. He's still walking. He walks to the next corner. Your gun should be out. He walks past you, turns around. The gun should be out there. So they are gonna grill. I'm watching this video right now. They are gonna grill him. If they get a good, if the DA is good, this is gonna be tough because he had many chances to pull out the gun and stop this person, to shoot him in the face, to shoot him in the chest, not while his back was turned. If he was going to shoot him in the back, it should have been in the back while he was in that corner or while he was behind him, robbing the customers behind him, not when it looked like it was possibly over. And this is hindsight. Like we're assuming that he's about to exit the store, but I mean, he already got the tables. He already did all of that. So it's, I mean, like you said, I believe it's self-defense or defense of the store. Self-defense, I don't know, because he's not attacking him. That there's no imminent threat to him. And if the lawyer
or people he's immediately with, but I know that's kind of the gray area that I see as a gray area. And I understand the defense of that, but everyone's quick to say, what if it was your family? But I didn't see anything on there that looked like anybody was about to get plugged. And no, it's not. Do you want to ask him if the gun is fake? It doesn't matter if the gun is fake. I understand that. At the time, it does not matter. But what I'm saying is that it could matter if someone wanted to come after him. One of the latest news that I saw, I was on YouTube, but it was like from the Houston, news, and they had interviewed a very young defense attorney. And of course, they're going to have a defense attorney on there because it's like, a defense attorney is going to tell you everything that's right with the situation in order to get off. Mm-hmm. A prosecution is going to tell you everything that's wrong with the situation in order to prosecute. And I guarantee you, if you get a prosecuting attorney sitting there in front of the camera, they're going to say exact opposite that the defense attorney said. Mm-hmm. And that's and one of the points I was saying is like the law works in weird ways. The law will twist itself up in a corner, and it's not about what we've seen necessarily. It's about what can and can't be proved. And it's such a cliche, but it's so true.
Very true. I mean, that's right on the head. Like it's on the lawyers to prove what can be proved. It has nothing to do with really truth or lies. Is if you're in that situation, would that actually happen? Is that plausible? I don't see the self-defense in it because he's not being attacked. His family member or whoever that guy is in front of him, he doesn't look worried.
He's calm.
He's
calm. Maybe he's calm because he sees the guy pull the gun and he's like, yeah, this is about to go down.
That could be definitely the case, but the person in the corner, I'm guessing that's an older guy over there in the corner. He's sitting there like this. It's like he's waiting till it just to all end, waiting for that guy to get out so he can.
What do you think you would have done in this situation? Because to me, it's you learn survival, survival of self. That's natural. You can't even control that. And to me, survival is give this guy my phone, give this guy my wallet, whatever he needs. He's on the way out the door. I live to fight another day. Maybe we catch him. Maybe I find myself in the trash around the corner. I feel if the guy's coming in and again, he was brandishing a weapon, which it ended up not being real, but we don't know that. Mm-hmm. He was waving it around as a robbery, just like a typical robbery you see on TV, low end, whatever. And to your point, like my thought, and I got grilled for even having this thought, and I love the conversation because I don't care if the guy goes to jail. I don't care if he gets off. I'm just saying there's a lot of gray area in this video. And I see the guy, he looks like he's got everything he needs. He's on his way out the door. Nobody else is in any imminent danger. And if I'm the prosecution, I may be asking that question because he's wanted for questioning. Notice that. They're all those red flag key phrases, Yeah. And then to leave the scene, I guess they had another person on there who said that, and you're not legally obligated to stick around at the scene of a crime.
No, you can
leave. But what if you're the one who pulled the trigger? Like this happens all the time.
So with that, I would tell him not to, even if, so, okay, for me, because I've been through the course, like I said, I'm an instructor. So I know that my job is to make sure that it's hard for the state to prove their case against me. Even though I know I was not in the wrong, it does not it does not go well for me to speak to the police officers and allow them to trip me up and me to speak and say something that, oh, I mean, no, I didn't mean that.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So it's best to not
Stay
say
away.
anything, leave the scene.
Get
and
an
then
attorney.
let them come up to you, get your attorney.
Yep.
Talking to the police officers, not saying they're doing this on purpose, but that's their job. That's the state's job to prove the case, to put people behind bars. They can't put the other guy behind bars. Someone has to pay for this. So if I was in that situation, like I said, the guy came through the door. That's why training is so important. I don't feel like that guy, this is me assuming, I don't think that guy trains pulling from a seated area where it's bunched up and he has to and present. He's stumbling right now. He's still stumbling.
You're watching it again. So is that part of training, of being able to draw from any given position?
If you're going to be a gun carrier, it is on you to be responsible all the way through, like through and through. You need to know your state laws. You need to know every law within, so you can operate appropriately and make sure you're not getting caught up on anything. When it goes to defending yourself, you want to be able to get your gun out and present it and end the threat right away. You don't want the threat walking around.
Right. What about the 9 shots?
The 9 shots.
As he stands up, he fires 5, and then he walks toward the dead person, or will be dead, soon imminently dead, fires 3 more times, kind of looks around, moves the gun, picks up the gun, fires 1 more time, and then goes back to his table. And then that's when he looks at the gun, finds out it's fake, and chucks it across, the cafe, which I can understand the frustration, because I can even imagine, like, it can be both things. You can feel like you've defended yourself and other people and then felt like complete shit afterwards. Like he did I think he did what was right, maybe, but it's not up for me to say, right? But I mean, that has to feel like shit at the end.
Yeah. I mean, 9 shots. The last one, after you take the gun, you shoot him again. That's going to be hard to justify.
Right.
A lot of people say, well, like, a lot of people like to say, I was trained or I was told to make sure I eliminate the threat fully. Like, there's no life. No,
you're neutralize the threat. Now, what's the difference between eliminate the threat and neutralize the threat? Is there a difference?
Neutralize. So in my book, yeah, neutralize would be to be able to make sure that person is not capable of doing anything. They're not able to attack you still. Eliminate, that is, you're done. You're right. Gone. And that's what he did. He was already neutralized. He was on the ground. He took the weapon. Was he going to get up after the 5 shots?
At that point, it
or
was
9 or 8 shots.
Took the weapon and fired another time.
That's.
Well, that remains to be seen. Like I said last time, this is Hard Parking, the non-automotive automotive podcast, and this absolutely has nothing to do with cars, but it's about life. It's about people, and it's a discussion. This thing went viral, it went global, and it's about 50-50. People saying, good, he got what he deserved, or, people saying, damn, that sucks. It didn't have to be like that. I think everybody thinks at the end, the robber or would-be robber kind of got what was coming to him, but to what extent? And I think that's what we're waiting to find out. So, Brian, thanks for joining the show again. I appreciate it. You want to plug your, don't you have a self-defense technical course coming up, actually?
Yeah, well, I have a class next week, this week, actually, Wednesday. It's going to be on Twitter, on the Twitter Spaces. It's free. You come in and listen to, we're going to be talking about the legal use of force. I'm definitely going to talk about this, and we're going to go through some of the things that, some of the boxes that he's supposed to check off, and, to make sure that this was a clean shooting, but it's looking pretty shaky. But yeah, you can check out the Warriors Defense Collection at, go to the Warriors Collection brand, and there's a tab for Warriors Defense Collection where we'll have our classes listed there. And yeah, please be kind in the comments.
They won't be. We're not here for your guns. I mean, how many guns do you own, Brian?
Oh, I got about six, but we're responsible. We train with them and we encourage other people to train. And if you're going to carry, be responsible carrying, know the law. Don't be a hothead. This is like lives are on the line, yeah, there's so much that can be said, but yeah, you got to be responsible.
Yeah, and again, we've had these conversations with everything that we see, whether it's Breonna Taylor, whether it's George Floyd. And so, I mean, you know me, am I anti-guns? I'm not anti-guns at all.
No.
I don't think this has anything to do with gun control.
No,
this was just a robbery case that went wrong. And then at the end of the day, I just think that you can, based on what I saw, you can easily go from hero of the day legally to in big legal trouble. Yeah. That's just how this world works.
And people need to understand that. Like, if you step out of line and you're trying to be hero, or you think this is a moment for you to be hero, you could be really stepping into prison for life.
You better be sure what you're doing. You better
be sure. Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian.
No problem.
Guys, if you like what you heard today, or if you didn't like what you heard today, comment below. This is what I do on the podcast. Sometimes we talk about real stuff. Consider subscribing to this page and please consider subscribing to my podcast, Hard Parking with Jhae Pfenning. Comes out every Monday on, Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, pretty much anywhere you normally get your podcasts.